I'm Rochelle Weir. I'm joined with Phil Slade, and we are here answering some of the frequently asked questions that we get through our webinar series. So, what is an ape really? Is it just my ego?
Your ego is part of what we would call your subconscious, or the parts of you that are less conscious to you. But I suppose your ape, from a more behavioural economics perspective, is more your learnt behaviours. So these are the behaviours that you've learnt and built up over time in order to survive the world around you. Ego can be that. So part of your ego developed because of relationships you had in the past, or often great pains, or what was valued by your parents, for instance, and what you then value yourself, and how you value yourself, and how you see yourself. In the decision-making framework that we've got sort of you, which is your APSI, and how to work with APSI. You've got your ape, and we've got ape tribes, and how your ape works. And then you sort of got a piece that is your self-view, which goes across, and it's almost like a deeper layer. So it's very much connected to your ape, but if you think about your ape like learnt behaviours and reactivity, your ego triggers your ape, if that makes sense, in the way that I think about it anyway. I mean, these are all just frameworks of knowing how to understand your own reactivity. And so by controlling your ape, you do end up controlling the negative expression of your ego, because that's how your ego expresses itself through your ape. Your sort of subconscious is leaking in a way through your ape. Your ape becomes the mouthpiece for your ego.
Awesome, thank you. How can you demonstrate empathy without going apeshit?
There's a question here that often comes up about authenticity, and if you're suppressing your ape, are you actually being authentic? Are you, if you're showing empathy towards somebody, are you faking empathy, or are you being real with empathy? If you don't go apeshit, people feel like you're being inauthentic in the moment. And actually what we find is that no, you can be very, very authentic without going apeshit. Being authentic is just about being clear about what you want, and how you're feeling at any moment. You're being authentic to your surroundings, to your context, to the people around you. When you go apeshit, you actually are not authentic. Often when people are going apeshit and they're flipping out, particularly if they're feeling threatened, or they're being challenged around a point of view that they've got, they often really actively defend a position that they've got that they don't actually believe. So we actually find that the apes going apeshit are going apeshit because I want to win. I want to beat you. I want to win the argument. I don't actually believe what I'm saying. I just want to win. So in that sense, you're not actually being authentic to the discussion or to the surroundings, but it feels authentic in the moment, right? So actually being authentic is about controlling your ape, because your ape is not the best indicator for being authentic. When you're in your right mind, when you're in control of your ape, when you're in your system too, you can sort of better judge it, better judge yourself, and better judge what's actually going on, and be a bit more real. So be more authentic with yourself, to go, I understand what you're saying, and I have a position that's this, but you can tend to arrange your arguments and your thoughts in a more logical, less defensive, less reactive way, which then also means it sort of signals to the other person in the conversation that they're not having a reactive conversation, they're having a thoughtful conversation. So apes sort of go away, and you're in that novel space, because often when you're debating or challenging or creating an idea, you're actually using that system 2 part of your brain, because you're problem solving, you're coming up with solutions for future scenarios and things like that. So it's a bit of a fallacy to think that because you're either not allowing your ape to be triggered, or you're triggering someone else's ape, that it's actually less authentic. It's actually much more authentic to be able to control your ape, to help others control their apes, and to be able to communicate in a more conscious way. And that's where authenticity comes in. Empathy is neurologically, there are all these parts of the brain, all these functions of the brain, I should say, which are quite automatic. And so controlling your ape also isn't always about getting rid of your ape. Like your ape is there, your ape is always around. So often it's about working with your ape and understanding when you feel that kick or when your instinct tells you something's wrong, or when you're having empathy for someone else and you can see that there's something wrong or they're hurting someone. Of course you need to. It's an interconnected system. If I'm saying something that you need to hear and it's hurting you too much, I need to be able to see that, to go, I need to change the way that I'm doing this. Or it's your empathy, your mirror neurons, which are trying to say, if I'm in your shoes, how would I feel, right? That's what empathy is. So often empathy works in conjunction with the way that you communicate, because it gives you the feedback that you need in terms of how to move on to the next stage or the next conversation. It's more interconnected than that. But when it comes to authenticity, you're much more likely to be more authentic with yourself and those around you when you're not in a reactive state, when you're in a more responsive state.
So, upcoming webinar. What are you going to talk about?
So the upcoming webinar is about apes and better learning how to control your ape and the ape of others. So it's about understanding. So we're going to go through the different tribes, the 3 different tribes of apes, how apes often react, and a little bit on some of the biases that affect us all, and which nudge us into towards different behaviours and things like that. But really it's about when things go wrong, how do we make it right again? It's kind of, we can do all the lovely planning and people are people, and it's complex and it's going to go wrong. It doesn't matter whether you're in a meeting or whether you're at a Christmas table where someone says something inappropriate, and there's family and everything goes apeshit. In that moment, what do you do to help calm yourself down, calm other people down, and bring things back into line? And so that's really kind of what we're going to explore. Understand what are the tools to be able to use, and then practice using those tools so that hopefully you can leave the webinar knowing what to do. Like it's all good to have it as head knowledge. You want it as practical knowledge that you can start applying and know what it feels to apply. So we've got a webinar, but we intentionally have quite an extended Q&A time after that to really help people work through the Q&A experience. And we keep the webinars small so that we can have a more, I suppose, in-depth conversation about how to apply this, how to make this real and not just theoretical.
Can't wait.
It's going to be fun.
I know. I agree. So thanks for that. That was awesome. And so if you are interested to learn more about the webinar series or learn more about what we do, or you've got questions yourself, by all means contact us on all the usual social media channels. The links will be below. We look forward to catching up again soon.